So the first thing we're going to discuss is linear functions, and then later on we'll finish off with parabolic functions. I'm going to be discussing how to find the y-intercept, x-intercept, the turning point, and then I'm going to be utilizing different types of formulas when coming to parabolic functions. Okay, welcome to our second part of our lesson. We are going to be dealing with parabolic function. So the first thing you should know about parabolic function is that if you have a graph in this manner, it's said to be a concave up graph, which you can say is a smiley face graph. And then this represent a positive graph. So if we have this type of graph, meaning we have our formula represented as ax squared plus bx plus c. And then we have another one which is concave down graph, or you can say a Z face graph. And then anything that is negative is Z. It has to be with Z effect, and then anything that is positive has to be a smiley face. So this means that when you have a greater than 0, your shape should be positive. And then if you have your a less than 0, your graph should be a negative graph, right? Yes. And then we are going to be discussing different types of parabolic formulas and their advantages. So the first one we have y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. So the advantage about this one is that you know that your c is your y interception. So your c is your y interception. So if you were to find your c, the first thing you should know is that your c is your y interception. Or if you were given a formula, y is equal to x squared plus 5x minus 6. We already know that this minus 6 is our c and is our y interception. I hope you get that. And of course, this is the most appropriate one to use in most cases. And then we have y is equal to a into x minus p squared plus q. So the good thing about this one is that if you check here, we have completed the square to get to this point. So if you don't know how to complete the square yet, I recommend that you practice very well so that you can easily understand what happens when you get to this point. But then that's a topic for another day. Now with that, we are dealing with function. Advantage of this formula is that we already know if we have these values here. Let's say we had a value here, let's say -2 in this manner, and then here 4. This means that with these two values are our turning points. This one is our y turning point, and then this one is our x turning point. But what you should know is that, okay, let's say we asked to find our turning points of the graph, given that our formula is equal to, let's say, -2 into x minus 1 squared plus 3. We asked to find the turning points of this graph. Our graph was going to have turning points as, I want you to note this very, very well. When taking the turning points, our p, which is our x value, always changes this sign. So if we have this -1, meaning our p will have our 1, and our q, which is our 3, stays the same. It does not change the sign. Our p changes the sign. If we had a +2, we are going to have a -2 here. So when you have this kind of formula, just know that we already could tell, or you already can tell your turning points of the graph. That is how this formula will help you in your exam questions. The last one will have y is equal to a into x minus m, x minus n, where your m and n are your what? So if you have y as 0, meaning we are looking for what? The x interception, because if we are looking for x int, we let our y to be equal to 0. So if we are given this kind of formula in your exam or anywhere else, just know that your m and your n is going to be your x interception of the graph. So let's say we have our y as -2 into x minus 2 x plus 1. This simply means that our x interception on this equation, our x, listen to me very careful, our x interceptions on this equation is what? Is going to be x and minus 1 and then x and 2, because you know that while solving this, our x will change the sign outside this bracket. So this help us to find simply our x interceptions, and then this one help us with the turning points, and then this one help us to simply identify our y interception. So make sure you understand this, and it's going to be very, very, very useful going forward. Okay, fam, this is our very last part